This is Sonic, and you're watching JD Frank 20.
Alright, let's talk about this topic quickly. For the last 48 hours, this has been trending. Apparently, Platinum Games is simply giving you one simple reply. If you want to play Bayonetta 3, simply buy a Switch. That tweet was sent out by Hideki Kamiya, obviously. And people are still on the fence of saying, why do I have to get a Switch to play Bayonetta 3? You have to realize that, well, first of all, this goes way back into Bayonetta 2's developmental time, but Nintendo is responsible for funding the project. In fact, if it wasn't for Nintendo funding the project, the Bayonetta series would have been thrown aside, just like a lot of games that don't even deserve a proper sequel, and maybe a trilogy if that game does well, or if it's popular. You know, this is kind of odd because some people are even saying, how is this even controversy? Like, did you not see the end of the trailer where it says Nintendo Switch only? You know, and there's some dumb people on Twitter that even think that it's coming out for the Xbox series. Like, no. First of all, Microsoft is not getting any of these games that you see at a Nintendo Direct or whatever. Maybe some of the indie games, but they're not getting any of these games you know and love that are first-party games. Like, just fucking stop wishful thinking, please. You're embarrassing yourself by even thinking that. Now, for Sony, it is most likely, obviously, but at the end of the day, Nintendo gets the final say for this. Like, yes, I understand people want to point blame at SEGA for being dumb enough back in 2012 for letting the intellectual property, you know, not giving it, you know, not funding the game themselves for Bayonetta 2, so obviously Nintendo picked it up, because obviously Sony and Microsoft didn't care or didn't want to put up the money to fund the game back then. Let me repeat myself. When you're funding a game, you're basically a bank. You're not, you know, the Platinum Games is making the game. They just need someone to back them up, someone to give them money. Sony and Microsoft realized it wasn't worth their time because fuck it, because the original Bayonetta 1 didn't meet their sales expectations. So they're saying, why are we gonna bother wasting all of our money for a second game that'll probably do the same numbers? So to them, it felt like it wasn't worth it because your games have to sell over 10 million or more in order for it to be a hit, apparently, for them. Maybe even, so that's why they decided to say no. And Nintendo at the time, which was looking for exclusives for their then home console, Nintendo Wii U, which is basically a dead console at this point. But at the time, Nintendo needed exclusives, and they were not kidding around, and Bayonetta 2 was one of them that they were able to snatch up, and pretty cool, obviously. Now, the thing is, like, you know, I don't understand why people are complaining. Now, why people are complaining, oh, why do I have to buy inferior hardware just to play this awesome game? Really, people are going to bitch and complain about buying a Nintendo Switch, a $300 piece of hardware. Yes, that's what the Switch is worth, alright? Don't pay anything above that, unless it comes with extra games or accessories. You know what I'm talking about. You can find a Nintendo Switch anywhere on the store. You can find it easier than finding a fucking PlayStation 5. Now, the one thing that really upsets me about this, other than reading these dumb Twitter replies so we can all have a good laugh at it, is this. You people are willing to bitch and complain about spending $300 on a quality Nintendo handheld / hybrid console, but yet you're willing to go out and spend almost $1,000 or more, we're talking rent money here, on a fucking PlayStation 5 that hardly, you know, that has, yes, the PlayStation 5 has quality games, and they'll always have third party, but if you want third party, you get it from an Xbox Series X. I mean, I understand you can't find those consoles either, but you get my point. You're all bitching and moaning just because you don't want to add a Nintendo Switch to your library. Why is that? You do realize you're also going to have access to all the other first-party games that are amazing. Like, seriously, what the fuck does Microsoft have right now? Seriously, what do they have that's worth getting right now? If you're a salesperson, try to sell this console to me if you even have it available. What is your selling point other than graphics? Because I don't give two shits about graphics. I never did. It's about quality of games. It's about what you have on your lineup. Not playing backward compatible games as a crutch until the newer games come out. That just feels lazy. You know, and look at this. And I understand everyone's upset about the whole exclusivity thing. Hey, that's just the way it is. This is the video game industry. You're going to have deals like this. And no, it's not a timed exclusive, where it's going to be on the Switch for maybe a year, and then it's going to come out for the other consoles. No. It's a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Get over it. Deal with it. If you want to play this awesome game, you know, I highly recommend getting it on the Switch. Obviously, it's one of my go-to games to get, obviously. And if you never played Bayonetta 2, obviously, because maybe you don't own a Switch yourself, get that game. You'll get the first one included as a free digital code, so you get 2 games the price of 1. You know, just so, you know, you understand where the series began if you never even played the Bayonetta series before, but you saw the trailer for the 3rd one, and then you realize, this game looks interesting. If you're already a Switch owner, but you never played the other Bayonetta games prior to that, so there's a way that you can play those games, at least. You know, I understand, you know, some people, you know, it's just funny how people, you know, for almost 4 years, they've been bitching and moaning, they've been wanting some Bayonetta 3 news ever since that first trailer back in late 2017, and then now everyone's upset, oh, you just gotta buy a Nintendo Switch to play this game. Again, Nintendo funded the project, they have the rights to this. Now, if Platinum Games didn't have the funding, they could go multi-plat, no pun intended, with the release of these games, but Kamiya himself even admitted that, well, that's up to Nintendo, because if Nintendo wants to distribute the games to other consoles, they can. You know, they can. It's just like, why the hell would Nintendo do that? In fact, one of the quote he said was, how much of a chance do you have Bayonetta 3 being on Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5? As much as of a chance you have a Mario game or a Zelda game being on those consoles. So basically, he gave you basically an honest answer. So the answer is 0 chance. You know, but at the end of the day, look, I mean, you can't be pointing fingers at the game, seriously. I mean, Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3 would not even exist if it wasn't for Nintendo, so seriously. So stop blaming SEGA for their stupidity back in 2012. Yes, I know they made bad decisions back then, but so what? At the end of the day, they still kind of own the IP, but at the end of the day, Nintendo gets the final say. It's like they have the rights to the intellectual property. And what's wrong with it being on Nintendo anyways? You know, it's about quality, right? At the end of the day, do we really give a shit about graphics? Like, people are going to say, oh, how do you feel about Bayonetta 3 being on inferior hardware? You know, at the same time, and then Kamiya at one point sent out a funny tweet saying, as much of a chance as your mom having an inferior son. I wish I could really show that tweet out here, but I couldn't. For the likes of me, I couldn't be able to find it. But you get how savage Kamiya is. He doesn't have time for stupidity. He doesn't have time for any of this. You get in his way, he'll block your ass on Twitter. So be very careful what you're gonna say to him if you haven't been blocked by him on Twitter already. At the end of the day, we're all getting a quality game. It's coming out for the Switch, and we're all excited about it. Those of you who don't have a Nintendo Switch, in the words of Woody from Toy Story, get one! Just get one. It's so simple. I mean, what's wrong with not having a Switch part of your lineup? Is it going to be uncool next to your fancy $3,000 gaming PC that has all the nooks and crannies, all this cool high-tech stuff? Is it going to be too uncool for that? Like, seriously, come on. Stop fucking thinking that way. Just get the console or portable console. Oh, you can even... Yeah. Or if you want a portable version of it's $200, get the Switch Lite. If you want $350, if you have $350, get the Switch OLED. Fuck it if you can find it. You have a prettier screen. At least it's LCD. It's, you know, I don't know. Oh, no, it's OLED. My bad. It's fucking early, people. I mean, what do you want out of me? I gotta go to work in about 20 minutes. Trying to wrap this shit up. You know, so at the end of the day, let's just have fun with this. And anytime I see an article about this, I'm just gonna, you know, report on it. Fuck it, let's have fun. Alright, gotta go. Peace out.